Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear students, this is our last lecture in the Python where we had to discuss about the tuple and the dictionary. We have seen already the list. Basically, there are four collection data types in Python. The first is the list, which is ordered and changeable. That means it's mutable. You can change it. It allows duplicates and all. We can do anything with the list, and you can change it. It's ordered. It's indexed. Okay, like we say, list of zero, list of one, like an array we have. And then there is a tuple, which is ordered and unchangeable. This is like an array which you can't change, like a constant array that you have some values in it. Now you can't change. That's it. That's a tuple. Okay, and it allows duplicates too. Now set is the collection which is unordered. There is no order in it, and it's unindexed. There's no index in it, so no duplicate members are also there because it's unordered, so we can't have a duplicate members. Now in a dictionary, which is like an associative array, we have seen in the JavaScript like dollar underscore cat or dollar underscore post, which are associative arrays with the key value pair. The dictionary is like kind of that. Okay, it is unordered. It doesn't have a order. We don't need index basically for the dictionary or in a set because there is a key value pair. Okay, like we have the associative arrays where we have a key and we have value. So we don't need index. We only need the key. On the basis of key, we can go anywhere in a dictionary, right? It's changeable. Okay, you can change it. It's also indexed, but dictionary and set, it's also indexed. Okay, in a set it's not indexed, and in dictionary no duplicates, or in a set no duplicate members are allowed. Now list we have already discussed is in like an array, but it's unordered, it's immutable, it's heterogeneous. That's important, that we can have like we have a string of array, and we could have the multiple things, like here's got a string and we got a integer, we got a float, third element is a float. So it's a mix up of things. Okay, and we have already done these things. List objects is a one important thing, that they are mutable, that we can change the content. Consider this as a list. So we got a 10, we got A, we got B, we got some numbers. Okay, now we can index them the positively or negatively. If you say positive, this is the 0, and the 10 has the 5. But if you come from the reverse order, the 10 will have a -1, and then this 10, the beginning 10, will have the -6. Okay, so that we can have the strings in it, and we could have the floating point with the integers because it's heterogeneous, right? Right. Now you can create the list using the box simply, or you could say the list, or you could say the type list, and so on. Now type list will do what? The type list will actually will print its type. So what type data type it has. So it will tell you the class list. This print will print me this list which is empty. There is the empty box. Now you can use some kind of a range to access the elements. This is called the slice operator, where we have the start, we stop, and step. The default value for the start is 0. Okay, now if you have an array and you say the stop value is some 2, so it will go from 0 to 2 and so on. And step will increment how many increments I have to do, like the default value is 1. Okay, like we have this as a list, then you say 2 colon 5, that means 2 to 5 elements, give me the 2 to 5. If you say colon the -5, that's element beginning to fourth. Now if you say 5 colon, that means from um, uh, in this case it was the beginning was not mentioned, so it is automatically from 0 up to -5 coming from the backwards, it's up to 4. And here there's 5 colon, that means after the 5, the beginning is has to start from the sixth element and up to the end, exactly, because there's no end mention. Now if you say only colon, that means all the elements from beginning there's no mention, and at end there is no mention. Okay, and so on. Now this is the list of 0 will give the 10, list of -1 will give the last one, 40. 1 to 3 is a slice operator which will give you from 1, that is 20, this is 0, this is 1, and then then the 3. It's 0, 1, 2. Because up to 3, up to, not 3 is not included. The beginning one is included all the time. That it starts from the 1, that is 20, but it doesn't stop up to the 3, but rather it stops at 2, so it's not included. Okay, and you can use the for loop and a lot more things. So we can change or add elements to the list. We have already done the list and all. You can go through the notes and just see it. The range we have discussed it and all those things. Now this is a small program where we add the elements to the list up to 100, which are divisible by 10. We got the list which is empty. Then we say for I in range 101. So because this will be from 0 to 100, then we say if I percent 10 equals to 0, we're going to append it to the list. What are the list we have? Okay, we'll append that I to that value. So you're checking here divisibility by 10. If it is divisible by 10, then you append it. Okay, so the answer will be like this. Now there are some insert functions, like you want to insert at the second position the number 786. You will say n dot insert. The n is the name of the list, and insert at the location second, that is 0, 1, 2 to 786. That means literally 1, 2, 76, then 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's a difference between append and insert, because append means to add at the end, and insert will add at the particular location. That's simple as it is. Then remove function, remove it. Then there's a pop function, clear function, and reverse. You can go through these. This is self-explanatory, very simple. You can go through the notes and just do it. Okay. Then there are these are the operations of the list. Then comes our tuple, which you want to read now. So tuple is nothing but like a list. Only thing is immutable. That means you cannot change it. Once you have created it, you cannot change its value now. So it's like a read-only version of the list. And how you have seen the list in the square brackets, here we got appearances. Okay. So if your data is fixed and it never changes, then you go for the tuple. Its insertion order is preserved, duplicates are allowed, and heterogeneous objects are also allowed. So we can differentiate duplicate elements by the index, because we can access the elements by the index, and there's also the positive index and negative index. That means you can go from forward and you can come from the back. Okay, left to right or right to left. And you need to have the parentheses um, to represent the tuple, and there should be the commas. Uh, we have to remember the parentheses are actually optional, but it's recommended to use parentheses because it will differentiate between the list and a tuple by these parentheses. Okay, we could say L is equal to parentheses 1, 2, 3, or simply 1, 2, 3. In both cases, we have the tuple, but if you have a square bracket, it means the list. Then if you say T 10, 20, 30, 40, it's actually a tuple because there is no square bracket. So if the absent square bracket means, even though there is no parentheses, it means the tuple. You can't simply change it, right? So you can have a comma separated values or in the parentheses. You either put the parentheses or you don't put the parentheses. It's your choice. So how you create a tuple? You say this is the empty tuple. T equals to say simple parentheses and there's nothing else. So it's an empty tuple. Now you see if you have only a single element and you say for example you say s equals to 10. Okay, now you may say it's a tuple, but it's not a tuple. It's taken as an integer. So if you say type of this s, it will be gonna be int. So if you to make it a tuple, a single element as a tuple, you have to put up a comma as a syntax on a back to differentiate between the integers and the tuple. If you say now the tuple of type of s, it's going to be the tuple. So if you say only 10, it will be taken as integer, not tuple. Okay. So if you have a single value tuple, parentheses are optional. but there should be a comma on the back. But if you have multiple values, then the parentheses are optional. There is no need to put a comma on a back. It's only differentiate between the single element integer and a tuple. And you can also have a tuple function. Okay, you can say t equals to tuple. Then you say, for example, there's a list because there is a bracket. Okay, square bracket, it's a list. You could say tuple and then uh, give it the input these elements. Now it will create this t with the same elements, but now it's a tuple. Now you can use the range function to get a tuple. Say t is equal to tuple range 10, 22. The 10 is the beginning, 20 is the end, and within, but you can't include the 20. 20 is not included. 10 is included. So from 10 you start, that is 10. Then you increment by 2, that is 12. Then 14, then 16, then 18. 20 is excluded itself. Okay. Now if you print t, it will print this thing. Now you want to access the element of tuple, you can use the index or a slice operator, whatever you like. Say for example, this is 10, 20 up to 60. We know this is the beginning one is a 0, and if you want to come reverse is -1. So if you say print t of 0, that means 10, answer is 10. But if you say -1, it is 60 answer. But if you say 100, which is not there, so it is say tuple index out of range. So indexing you always do in the square brackets. Even though you say you have a tuple, this is an empty tuple with a comma, put in comma in to tell us that this is a tuple. Okay, even though it's an empty. So if it's a single element or empty, you need to have a comma. So you can use a slice operator also. That is 2 colon 5. That is from 2 up to 4 because 5 is excluded. From 2 up to 99 and so on. So it is from 0 up to end because there is no start, no end given, but steps are given. So you will jump to 2. Okay, it will start from the 10 here in this case. It will start from the 10, then jumps to that's the second location 30, and jumps to that is a 50. Okay, so 10, 30, 50 will be the answer. Um, but tuple are immutable, so we can't change it. So first, when you have a tuple this, now you want to say t of 1, that is at the one location which is 20, put up 70 there. It will not be allowed because tuples are immutable, you can't change them. Now there are some functions tuple like len, which you get the length. You count how many numbers we have, simple as it is, or index. It will give the index of that particular element in the tuple. If you want to sort it, you can say sorted t to sort it. Okay, minimum and maximum function, which will give the minimum and the maximum of a tuple. That's quite self-explanatory. Now, if you want to compare two tuples, you can compare. If the both are equal, then it returns 0. If first tuple is less than the second tuple, it returns -1. If the first tuple is greater than the second tuple, it returns +1. Okay. So what are the difference between list and tuple? They are kind of same. Okay. But lists are mutable, while tuples are immutable. Rest, their indexing, everything is same. Insertion order is preserved. Duplicate objects are allowed. Heterogeneous, both can be heterogeneous. Okay. Objects are allowed. Indexing, you can do the indexing, you can do the slicing to the both of them. Only thing is the list, you need to have a square bracket. In a tuple, you can have parentheses, or you can just leave it and put up the commas there and so on. Okay, it's a list, and this is a tuple. So it's a comma separated elements, but within a square bracket. Square brackets are mandatory. It's a comma separated within appearances, but appearances is not are optional. Okay, list objects are mutable. You can change them, but they are immutable. You can't change them. If the content is not fixed and I keep on changing, then we should go for the list. But if the content is fixed and never change it, then we should go for the tuple. It's like a constant thing. So now, if you want to list objects, they can't be used for the dictionary keys because keys should be hashable and immutable. You can't change the key. But the tuple can be used because as a hash key, because they are immutable. In the dictionaries, we can have the associative array because dictionaries are associative arrays. They need a key value pair. The key value had to be constant. You can't change them. Okay, so we can use the tuple as their keys. This is also one more point to be added Difference between list and a tuple. This question can come easily in exam, not in this form, in other form. The list and a tuple has to be in the exam all the time. Now there's a sets which are unordered collection of unique elements. Okay, they are unordered, they are unindexed, and we write them in a curly braces, square brackets for the list, parentheses for the tuple, and curly braces are for the sets. So when you use the sets, if you want to have a group of values without duplicates, there should be duplicates first thing, and order is not important. Then we go for the data type sets. So what we want to, in other words, we want to have a unique set of values. Okay, because duplicates are not allowed, insertion order is not preserved. Okay, but we can sort the elements. Indexing and slicing not allowed for the sets. But heterogeneous elements are allowed. You can have a heterogeneous elements. Okay, you can have the strings and floats and ints mixed together. They are mutable. You can change them. And we need to have a curly braces and a comma like this one, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and a curly braces and a comma. This is a set. If we say type of S, it's going to tell us it's a set. Or we can use a set function to create the set. So for the list, we have a square brackets. For the tuple, we have a parentheses, but these are optional. For the set and list, we need to have, surely we need the curly braces for the set and the square brackets for the list. But for the tuple, it's optional to have appearances. Now you can create a set by using the set function. Okay, you need to have a s is equal set, then you put up any sequence here, whatever you like to. For example, you got some list, you can put up this to this set function, this list. You can say s is equal to set of L, and then you print s, it becomes a set. Okay. Now, if you use the curly braces without a set function, for example, without putting the things there, it's a dictionary, not a set. Keep that in mind. So if you say type of S, it's a dictionary. But if you say S is equal to set and then parentheses, then you put the type of S. Now it's a set. For say for example, we have this function. We have here we don't use a set function, for example, and we say S equals to, in a curly braces, some numbers like we had here. It's okay. But if it's an empty set, we can't use the empty set like this because it's a dictionary. Okay, for empty set, it's necessary to use the set function, otherwise it will create a dictionary because they have both curly braces. Now we need to have a set function if we have the empty set. We need to have a set function, that's compulsory. So early empty set, empty in a curly braces without any elements is treated as a dictionary, not as an empty set. So what do you do for an empty set? You need to use the set function. Okay. Now, if you want to remove the duplicate elements of in a list, you simply have a list with the duplicate elements, then convert that into the list. The duplicate elements will be automatically removed. Right. Now you have the set add function, set dot add element. This is self-explanatory. Just go through these nodes. You can update things, functions, and so on. Now we call these set, list, tuple, and all iterable because we can get one element at a time in a for loop and just go through the whole thing in a loop. That's why we call them as an iterable. Now, now this is the last thing we discussed today. That is, it's an unordered collection of data values, and there's no order. It is used to store data values like a map, that is the key value pair. It's because these in Java and all, we call them as the maps. So the associative arrays, like in JavaScript we have. And keys in the dictionary does not have more polymorphism. They have to be constants. Um, Duplicate keys are not allowed because if you have duplicate keys, then there will be confusion. Because key value, because we have no index here, we have to understand that uh, uh, we have the key value identifying the element. Heterogeneous objects are allowed for both keys and values. Expression order is not preserved, and dictionaries are mutable. They are dynamic. We can't have the indexing. There is no index with the dictionary firstly, and therefore they can't be cited, right? In C plus and Java, dictionary are also known as map, while in a Perl or Ruby it's called hash, okay? Or it could be, it's kind of like the associative array. So if you have a curly braces and you put up things in them with the comma, or you can use the d equals to dict, okay? Um, so this is an empty dictionary. If you like to use empty dictionary, you can use simply the set method, where I told you the empty curly braces doesn't mean the set, it means the dictionary. Or you can use the d equals to dict this, then you can add things into it. So you say d of 100, the 100 will be the key, value will be Conan, 200 will be the key, value will be phase on, and if you print d, output will be 100 Conan, 200 phase on, because 200 is the key and value is phase on, and 300 Arsheen, right? But if you have the you want to assign all the values in the beginning. Now you may get confused if you see comma, then because if you see curly braces and you put things in a comma, then that's a set, not the dictionary. How to put the dictionary? The dictionary will have a key value pair, which was not in a set. Okay, it is like 1:geeks, 2:for. So one is the key, this is the value. 2 is the key, 4 is the value. 3 is the key, geeks, and so on. Now, if you say print dictionary dict, it will print all those things. It will print in a key value pair. Okay. Now you can have a mix of things. You can say key as a name and then value is geeks. Key as one and value is the list 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So if you print it, it will be printed as like 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and name and geek like this. Okay. So it's a mix. Now how to access data from the dictionary? We can access them by using keys simply. Either you put up the whole print D and then it will print everything, but if you say D of 100, you get the count. If you say D of 300, it will get the arsheen. Okay, you have to specify the key because we don't have index here, right? And if you have put up the wrong key, it will give the key error. And you can see whether the key you are giving is there or not by using the function has key. D dot has key 400. If it is 400 there, then it will return 1, else it will return 0. So then we can check if it returns 0, then we say, hey, you have given the wrong key. And if you are given the correct key, we can then this has key function is available only in the Python 2, um, but in the Python 3, and it's not available in the Python 3. So in Python 3, what we can do is we can use the in operator. If 400 in D, say like that, then we print it. We use the in operator in the Python 3. Okay. So you can update a dictionary for a new value. You say D of, for example, 100 equals Conan, you can say D of 100 equals set. It will update that value. You have to put up the value with that key, right? Like say D of 400 is Farsha. Now you can add the thing, the last one. D of 100 is Junada. Now 100 was Conan and it will be updated with the Junada. It will not, this will be like Junada and the 400 is added, right? Now for deleting the elements from dictionary, you can use simply the del with the, then you say del d of whatever the key we have. For example, this is our thing. You say del d of 100. So that means 100 Junada will be deleted and so on. Now, if you say d dot clear, it will clear everything from the dictionary. It will make it an empty dictionary. Okay. Now, if you say del d, it will delete all this, and then you want to print d. It can't print it because the d is deleted. Now, these are the important functions of the dictionary. Like it's a dict, create a dictionary. So we could say d equals dict, create an empty dictionary. D equals to dict, or you can use the key value pairs, and it creates a dictionary with specified elements. And you say D is for dict, 100, Junaid, 200, Zain, 300, Zach creates a dictionary with the given list of tuple elements. Okay, so you have a list. This is a combination of everything. You have a list. Okay, this is the bracket, and this is the end of the list. But if we have 3 elements, 1, 2, 3, and these three elements itself are the tuples with the parents, the tuples, like 100 and two values, then 200 and then second and three, and third value is this thing. Okay, so it creates a dictionary with the given list of tuple elements. Then we have the functions len, clear, get. To get the values of the key, d dot get key, we say like this. Okay, if the key is available, then it will give the value of that. Okay, uh, so if we have a default value here put up with the key dot get, then we say if the key is there, it will give the value of the key, and if it is not, then whatever the default value you have given, it will return that. Okay, now pop item will remove an arbitrary item. Any key value pair you can give, and say you say d dot pop item a particular element, so it will remove that element. Okay, like we have the print. If we say print d, it will give the everything firstly. That's 100 Muhammad, 200 Raju, 300 Chodu. But then you say print d dot pop item, it is the last item. Okay, last item is 300 Chota, so that will be given. And if you say print d, now that will be deleted also. It's not only pop, it's deleted. The array will be given is the only two things will be left out there. Okay, and if there is empty, if the disk is empty, then it will be the key error. Okay, now you want to give here d dot pop item is a key error because there's nothing in it. Now keys function return all the keys. You say d dot keys, it will print only the keys. Okay, you say d dot keys will print only where the keys are 100, 200, and 300. Okay, and so on. Or you could use a for loop for k in d dot keys, print k, it will print me all the keys in a loop. Now there's the values, it returns the keys return the keys, the values return the values. Like this orbiter is a value, lander is a value, rover is a value. Now you say print d dot values, and it will return all the values like orbiter, lander, and rover. Yeah, or you can use a for loop to access it. And if you say items return the tuples as a key value pair. Like you have 100 orbiter, 200 this, 300 rover, and you can say items, these are items, it will key value pair. It can give the key value pair like 100 orbiter and 200 lander and 300 rover. It gives both. Items give both key value pair. Now, if you want to copy your dictionary, you can say these are copy and put that into D1. Now, the D1 and D have the same, they are exact copies. Now, if we say d dot set default k comma v, the key is the k is the key value, some key value, and v is the value of that key. Now, if the key is already available, then this function returns the corresponding value, what is the value that key has. But if it's not there, okay, the key is not available, then the specified key value will be added as a new item to the dictionary. That means if the key is already there, then there will be no change in the in the value part. But if there is that key is not there, then the key value pair will be added. For example, we have here the key value 100 and the value is Gangoli. 200 is a key and Sehwag is a value. 300 and Dhoni. Now we say d dot set default 400 Kohli, because since the 400 was not there, right? It's not there. 400 is not there. So this 400 and Kohli will be added to the already this dictionary. So for example, if you want to print D, it will print all this 100, 200, 300, and the 400 Kohli is there now. Similarly here, you say D dot set default 100 is Sachin, but 100 is already there. Okay. Now, if 100 is already there, Sachin will not be added to the Ganguly. 100 and Ganguly stays. So you say print D, 100 and Ganguly stays, and rest of the dictionary stays. Now, if you have some X as a dictionary and you want to put all those things in the D, so you can say D update X. So that means all items present in the dictionary X will be added to the dictionary D. Like we have a D, this is a dictionary D, which is having the key value 1 and WhatsApp, 2 Facebook. Now D1 is like 2 Instagram and so on. Now we say D dot update D1. So whatever is in the D, okay, you will see we will have there the value of d1. Okay, uh, now if you want to print here say d dot update d1, we said d dot update d1, and you print d. Now d will have its own 1 WhatsApp, 2 Facebook, and you will also have it as a third element of the Instagram like this, because you can't have an key value 2 repeated, so it will put up a 3 there. Okay, as you see here, 3 face app. Basically, little confusion here. What I'm saying is, if you say detail update D1, now 2 is already there in the D, so this will not be updated. 2 Instagram will not be updated because you can't have the you know duplicate keys. So one WhatsApp and 2 Facebook will stay, and this will do nothing. But if you say D1 now equals to 3 face app, now D1 is updated as 3 face app, okay, and now you update this D1 to D. Now this will be updated. Now D will have one WhatsApp, 2 Facebook, and third is the face app. That's all for the this tuple and dictionary in the Python. Hope you got it, and you have to practice it, and you just see this the notes I have given, and hopefully you will do good in the exam. So best of luck for exam, and have a good day. Until next time, masalama.